Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome to the Nastygram RPG Podcast. This is Wings of Kani, Episode 5, Explorer.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic.
We see 6 identical men in clone trooper armor sitting at a table playing sabacc. Behind them, a brown-robed old man tends to a newborn baby in a hovering crib.
You sure you don't want to join us, General?
I'm afraid it wouldn't be very fair. I know your tells. The clones laugh in unison.
So do we. Makes for a pretty dull game, actually. Why don't you...
Beep, 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 beep. The soldier is cut off by the chirping of a communicator. He picks it up and holds it up to his ear. The trooper listens, then looks to each of his brothers and says,
Execute Order 66.
The 6 troopers pick up their blasters and begin firing at the old man with blank expressions. When the smoke clears, we see the man dead on the ground as the baby cries. The 6 men stand over the crib, staring at the baby and exchanging nervous glances, unsure of what to do.
It's not really a Jedi. Not yet.
The commander puts the comm to his ear.
The Jedi traitor is dead. We're in the process of transporting a Force-sensitive human baby to Coruscant. Please advise.
They nervously wait for a response.
Affirmative. New course for Arcanus.
The soldier looks towards the baby.
Welcome to Project Harvester, kid.
For millennia, the Takani lived in peace, in communion with their homeworld of Kani. The galactic civil war forced the Takani to leave their home. Together with the Kida and the 11 synthetic Venko, the denizens of Kani and their fleet gather unlikely allies in their search for a new home.
Welcome back to the Nastygram RPG Podcast. My name is Devin, and this is Pod Racing.
Hey everyone, Dan here. I am playing Venko the Slicer.
Your name is...
Zeta.
Wow.
Professional. I just
What the fuck?
I just goldfished the shit out of it.
That was a very Nastygram intro of you,
Yeah,
Dan.
I saw the word Venko, so I just rolled with it. Yeah.
We're going to change it up?
I am still a Venko.
Okay.
It's true.
Yeah. No, I think that about sums me up.
Hey, it's John. I am playing Rij Kantari and S3, the Gearhead and Astromech.
Respectively.
Hey, this is Jake, and I'm playing San Tavar, and I'm also playing his lightsabers.
Do you have sentient lightsabers? Did we talk about that?
No, I'm just making the sound effects.
This is Josh, continuing guest appearance as Captain Rhymes.
Welcome back, Josh.
Thank you, Devin.
Do you want
Thanks
rhymes?
for the opportunity.
I always love to have...
It's really generous of you to let me
I always love to
come
have
in.
players at my table that get disinvited from other tables.
It's nice to have a probationary member of Nastygram invite me back to the table.
Thanks for being here.
I'm
going to give you no scenes for the entire time.
You sit there in silence.
Click that little red box next to his microphone.
Oh, is that on? It's like Josh is like the younger brother you give the controller to that isn't plugged in.
He plays Tails in Sonic the Hedgehog.
We just edit out the spaces when he was talking. Do you want Rhymes' first name? Do you even care? Does anyone
Langston?
care?
Hughes.
Langton.
Langton Rhymes.
I don't like that. It sounds like plankton.
He has the secret formula for mutiny.
A lot of backstory.
The audience actually, they love Rhymes. They've been emailing in,
Yeah.
and they really like.
None of these have been released yet.
Call out.
Don't give away the. All right. Nice wide shot. At first, it just appears to be an asteroid field. From behind the camera, sort of green, white light. The asteroids twinkle. And as they move, we see the dark shape of Space Station Renewal. There are some lights on, but most notably is the Imperial strike-class cruiser Guillotine that is docked with the space station. We cut to the inside, one of the hallways out to the outer discs. It's illuminated. Power has been restored. We see personnel going to and fro, cargo, personal equipment, weapons, all moving busily. We see Carn walking down the hall, Rij standing next to her. We've returned systems to all the primary functions of the space station. She has a data pad in her hand.
Yeah, looks good so far.
Repurpose the interdictor. We're able to boost your small matter deflectors. It should keep the asteroids away from the station for a time, at least until we run out of energy.
Look, we're going to need to find them. And I think where they went and what happened, that's on that planet.
Carn stops walking. She nods. Okay. You're going to go down there, huh?
Yeah. Look, I hate to ask, but would be useful to have an extra set of hands when we go down, just in case. Don't know what to find there.
She looks at her data pad again. All I can really spare is a couple of droids. I can send the ties with you, at least escort you down, give you overwatch. Other than that, all the manpower I have is... She looks around, and there's a huge sort of... It's a salvage operation at this point.
Yeah.
Where the Imperials, or the ex-Imperials, are essentially co-opting this station. And she looks a little frazzled, like there's a lot going on. And she returns to her data pad, sort of mumbling.
Look, we're giving you what we can from this station. But know this, if we are to return here, we want something to return to.
I understand. What can we do for you? I don't think without bomber pilots, I don't think we'll be able to make our way through the rest of the asteroid field. If there's any resources we can give you, I'll make it happen.
Well, if you can make contact with anyone beyond this sector, get any kind of information, if the fleet has shown up in a nearby star system, if it's settled, if there are people there, maybe they would have remarked about it.
Can you tell me anything remarkable about the fleet? Something I can tell people on the outside?
Well, the Oracle is an Imperial cruiser.
She kind of stops for a moment.
Repurposed. The Imperials were over Kani when it was destroyed. This was a crash cruiser that we rebuilt and repurposed to leave our homeworld. I would say the hyphy, but that is in a million pieces now. So that cruiser is the most distinct.
Okay. I imagine there's a lot of Imperial light cruisers flying independently nowadays, but I'll see what they can find. I have a couple of people outside of hut space. For your sake, I hope they didn't go there.
Yeah, me too. But I don't think they had much of a choice. Wherever they went quickly. And maybe without much thought.
I wish we still had our functionality of our sensor array. It'd be a lot easier to help you. Long-range scans.
You don't think you can take the array off of this station and bring it outside the belt? Hell, some of the repeaters, we could array those in the field on the bow of the ship and rewire your sensor array to go through the repeaters. It might boost the signal.
She looks at her data pad. She's nodding. All right. What say when you get back from that planet? We'll talk about that.
Yeah. The sound of twin ion engines overhead be the first time that'll feel like safety. Your people did a number on mine. Reege looks her dead in the eyes. Your people did a number on a lot.
She casts her eyes down for a moment. I'll send the pilots down to the hangar bay. You can take them out when you're ready.
When we get back. Come on, S3. Kind of whirls around Carn and then heads down the corridor towards the hangar.
The green planet of Dodori 6 is blanketed in white and gray storm clouds. For all the time you've been able to observe the planet, it seems about a third of the surface, the visible surface, is covered in storms at any given time. You believe the atmosphere is breathable. There's a lot of water. Even on the land surfaces, it is covered in lakes, rivers. There is some mountainous terrain, but the visible planet, it looks like millions and millions and millions of years of water erosion. You would believe, if anyone has ever studied, what's the water planet?
Like Mount Calamari? That's not the name of the planet.
I think it's called Moncall.
Moncall?
Yeah.
Waterworld?
No. And the one that what do you call it?
People for the long-necked is the Keldori?
I don't acknowledge anything besides the original trilogy.
Avatar: The Way of Water?
Camino. Anyone familiar with the planets of Camino or Moncal would recognize the transformation of a once terrestrial planet transforming into a sort of water world, surface completely covered by water. Dodori 6 seems to be in the late stages of that transformation.
Call me Kevin Costner.
Counselor, Zeta, we'll have some air cover when we head down there. 2 TIE fighters.
What is the gravitational force of the planet?
I think it's about 1.3 G. Slightly larger than Kani.
That is acceptable, but my body will be suboptimal in those conditions.
Yeah, you and me both.
What do we need air cover from? From my understanding, there's no one down there.
There was no one down there, Counselor, but we don't know what happened to the fleet. We don't know what caused them to flee. Hell, some other Imperial group could have made camp, destroyed the Hi-Fi.
What we do know is that Dodori 6 is not stable. If there's anyone down there, then we need to warn them that they need to get out.
Yeah.
Devin, just a refresher from last week. The message that came through regarding the interest on the planet or the conditions that were interesting on the planet, has that information reached us? I can't remember the circumstances that it was given.
2 questions to answer your question. Did you listen back before you came today? Did you listen?
Absolutely. I wanted to clarify for the audience.
Okay.
This is really a
That's
primer
fair.
for the audience.
That's fair. Dodori 6 is not an unknown planet. It is in the Outer Rim. I see you nodding at me. You understand. I love that. So you have historical information on this planet. It's all readily available for you. Is there anything specific you want to know about the planet itself?
No, I just wanted to see if we knew of any other motives for going down there.
No, all you know is that the planet, the atmosphere, the biosphere of the planet is different in some way, that it's not suitable for Takani or Venko to exist there.
Okay.
And that is that's only by sort of the word that was handed down by the fleet, by the leaders.
It
of
had
the fleet.
originally been thought that it was a suitable homeworld because
Correct.
that's why we started building Renewal.
Yes.
But for whatever reasons, unknown probably to our characters, but maybe known to Jake's character, it wasn't suitable. It was deemed unsuitable.
Okay.
I'll tell you this. Give me an assess roll. You've had, so this is not immediately after the takeover of the guillotine. We'll say you're able to get one last good use out of those sensors on the
7.
Those volatile particles, those unstable particles that you detected in the remnants of the hyphae, you detect those same particles in the atmosphere of Dodori 6.
Okay.
What we don't understand is why the Empire, if we want to call them that, are interested in Dodori 6. Do they see this energy signature as a potential weapon? Is it a weapon?
It is an unstable one at best, Zeta says.
For now. But they are after something here. That's why they sent these stormtroopers and this escort. And whether or not there is information that leads us to the fleet, there's something down there, something worth knowing.
Something strong enough to destroy a starship in orbit.
Taking that into consideration, would it not be wise to follow protocol or priority in finding the fleet first?
We don't have any leads. The best we can do is jump to the nearest starport and hope that they went there. But my understanding from speaking to the crew of the Guillotine is that the ship can't make more than maybe 1 or 2 more jumps.
That is correct.
So we need to make it count. We need to gather as much information as we can. And at the moment, the only lead we have is Dodori 6.
Your logic is sound.
Not to mention the wreckage of the hyphae. There may be access terminals, data pads, something floating around there. Some sort of information on maybe where they were coordinating a jump. Reese shrugs.
The particle signatures may obscure any information that we wish to collect. I would put little probability in that possible path.
The timeline of events also, we don't know. It's possible that they weren't planning on jumping until after the hyphae was destroyed. That might have been the thing that made them decide to jump. In which case, we wouldn't find anything looking through the wreckage. Nevertheless, I suppose it's worth checking. Perhaps we could have Caldo do some scans while we're on the surface.
Yeah, Caldo and S3 will scan the hyphae. We'll head to the surface for any more information.
Zeta does look down at a data pad he's carrying, and he looks up from it again, and he says, it is possible that there could be calamite in the wreckage of the hyphae, in which case that could possibly sustain me until we reach another source.
How long do you have?
Based on my energy output, roughly 7 to 10 days.
Sun nods.
Well, we better make it quick then. I'll let the Imperials know. Get the TIE fighters ready.
It's a weird thing to hear. All right, so I guess we're going to swing through the wreckage of the hyphae.
Yep.
And then head down to the planet.
Yeah.
Sound like a plan, Devin?
It's a great plan. I love that plan. If anyone has any preparations they want to make before going planet side, you do have, there's really, besides the scarcity of calamite, there's no other urgent matter. So feel free for your characters to take as much time as they need to prepare.
Reese will take some of the droids on that Carn had kind of offered, and on the way out, we'll try to boost their sensor array. Kind of use them as proto scout droids, in case we need to send them out into the atmosphere without exposing ourselves to the planet.
Okay, I'll probably ask for a roll for that.
Yep.
I think Zeta, I doubt we have many instruments that are specific to scanning the planet other than what the ship has rather than personal equipment. So I think Zeta would just be keen on any equipment that could help him find traces of calamite in the Hi-Fi wreckage. And he'll probably get B1 on board the ship that's going down to the planet as well.
Are you going to be taking the
Wandering Star.
Wandering Star
Yeah,
down
I
to the
think
planet?
so.
Okay.
And I think San wanted to talk to some of the Imperials, maybe Commander Carn or Captain Rhymes, about that transmission and about the person who was kind of giving those orders and working with them off.
Okay.
See if we can kind of learn more about that.
We'll say for now, all you have is a last name, Orn.
But if you have the last name, you have the first name.
That's true.
Because it's the same.
Nero Orin.
Yeah, so I'd probably talk to them about, like, if they know who this Orin is.
Okay.
Yeah.
We see a hallway, doors along the walls, red lights illuminate this segmented hall of the guillotine. We see at the end of the hallway in a room, we see Rhymes talking with another Navy officer, another naval officer. Turbo lift opens. Carn walks out. Can I speak with you?
Yes, sir.
The other officer stands at attention and then walks away without a word.
We should be complete on the transfer in the next 6 hours. Everything that is mission critical from the station.
Good.
Were they able to recover anything useful from that data pad? Do you know?
I don't know. Honestly, you should seek out the counselor if you want to talk to him about it. I'd like you to go down to the planet with them.
All right, sir. Are you sure about that? I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't say no to shore leave, even if it is a bit less recreational. But
York was here for something, and there's some distrust of Imperials, of us.
I hadn't noticed. They seem so warm and fuzzy.
I'd like to make a show of good faith. If we are, I thought about what you said. I don't want to give control, leverage over us to anyone else, but I would like a partnership.
Understood, sir. What are your objectives you want accomplished? And how many do you want me to take?
I want to make sure that away team, all of them, make it back to this station. I want to know what York was after, why he jettisoned us halfway across the outer rim if there's something here that the Imperials are after, I want to know what it is.
Very well, sir. Just myself, or do you want me to take anyone?
She looks down the detention bay and then back at you. You have 21 here, able-bodied.
The stormtroopers.
4, 5.
Commander, if you're looking to bring everyone back, you know what they're like. They're programmed. They might as well be droids, except you can't wipe them as easily. If you want it done, we'll make it done, but I'm going to spend more time watching them than I am anything else down there.
I don't know if we can feed them, Rhymes.
Very well. I'll take one Marine with me. Jensen's earned it.
She nods.
4 stormtroopers. They ought to love this.
Such a bad idea. I mean, in terms of security, we all know they can't hit anything.
Oh, Commander, Lieutenant Velis, the doc is going to put her into surgery.
Do we have a back to tank?
Not functional. But she said with the hemorrhaging, she's the only one that is fully qualified to pilot the guillotine, or whatever it is you decide to call her. She goes under in 2 hours.
Okay, thank you.
I'll go let our friends know the good news.
Rhymes,
Yes, sir.
the mission.
Everyone back. Mostly.
She turns and walks away. Okay. Preparations are being made.
Mm-hmm. Jake, did you have something too?
Yeah, you want to talk to
Can I talk to
Rhymes or Carn?
talk to Carn? A little chat.
Sure.
Chitty chat.
Do you want Carn and Rhymes?
Sure.
So Josh can
Sure.
play. Do you go aboard the?
Now you consider my feelings?
Yeah, I go aboard the Guillotine.
Okay,
Maybe find them on the bridge.
sure.
Kind of walk up on, just kind of looking around.
They're still cleaning and repairing.
Yeah.
They're oversee. A lot of people are double duty. So you see, naval officers, cleaning the hallways. You see civilians repairing consoles in the bridge.
For some reason, they're calibrating their turbo lasers on the LZ.
For some reason, all the turbo lasers are functional now. Counselor.
Commander, I kind of look around and I say, amazing how much damage was done in such a short amount of time.
She has a sort of, I don't know. It's like she's remembering something.
I wanted to ask you about that transmission, about York's orders.
What would you like to know?
What are they after? Who is this Commander Orn? What does he want?
I don't know who this Orn is. I looked in Imperial records, and at least before the destruction of the Death Star, I had no idea who he really was. A couple of lower level officers, but none of them hit on.
No one on board has worked under him or with him?
She shakes her head no. What I do know is that York was after something here, and if this Orn turned him onto it, he took it seriously.
My fear is that they think that this is something they can weaponize, something that they can use. You know, that an important part of the fleet, one of our ships, was destroyed here. And now we have a new player, this Orn. We don't know what sort of power he wields or what he's after.
If there's one thing we can do, we can find out what they were after.
Well, I was hoping that someone would be able to offer some insight into the man.
I can tell you all you want to know about I can tell you all you want to know about Yorick, about the people who he deals with, who he's been dealing with. They're mercurial at best. He was grasping at any chance of power, securing a foothold. Whatever deal he made with this Orn, I would suspect it's dubious at best.
Very well. Unfortunate that there's no more information to be learned about him at the moment, but I suppose going down to the planet will be insightful. I have a feeling.
If this is something they were looking for, perhaps there's a way, whatever scans, whatever transmissions, whatever intelligence goes both ways. You can find more about who's looking for something when you know the nature of it.
I nod.
I'm going to be sending Rhymes with you,
Excellent.
along with a detachment of personnel. They're going to be there to keep you safe.
Very well.
I'll let Rhymes fill you in on the details. Excuse me.
Cut to the detention center.
Yeah.
Rhymes standing there. There's a corporal on guard, and picture a straight hallway, very stark, bright white lighting, and just bars. And behind them, about 21 stormtroopers sitting there, probably most with their helmets, some armor off, sitting on these benches against the walls.
They're throwing dice against the corner of the wall.
Rhyme says, Corporal, step outside for a moment.
Yes, sir. He stands at attention.
Dismissed.
Rhymes waits a moment for the door to close behind the corporal.
Stormtroopers, I've never liked your kind. We're out here at the asshole of the universe, the bitter end of the void, in the bitter end of our empire. You were born and bred to serve the Emperor, and he is dead. And the parasites he's brought along with him are the ones that have been giving you orders. For myself and this ship and this crew, we are no longer going to be following those orders. Commander Carn is my leader. He is taking the rest of us by choice in a new direction. We are not at war with the Empire because the Empire is gone. We will afford all of you a chance off the ship when we have the ability to do so. We'll jump into a system-held fire escape pods. In the meantime, any of you that are willing and able to help and to earn yourself your keep here. We don't have enough food to go around. We don't have enough resources. I need 4 volunteers to earn rations for the rest of you. You'll be coming with me and some others planet side. It may be dangerous. If you succeed in your task, you'll ensure your compatriots are fed, protected, and offered the opportunity to return. If anything goes awry, you will sentence to death the 17 that remain. Things go well. Some of you can stick along for the ride after that. 4 volunteers. Step forth to the bars.
When you approach the bars, a couple of them had sort of stood up and looked at you. They're all still wearing their helmets. As you speak, they turn and look around. No one moves. One of them stands up and he takes off his helmet. He says, "I'll go."
What's your name, trooper?
Derek.
Derek. Very well. That's enough to feed 5. Do I have 3 more?
Give me a roll.
There you go.
So I have an ability,
It's a good speech.
commanding
That was compelling.
presence, but I don't know if I want to use it. It's rugged. Yeah, I do want to use it.
Yeah.
I want it.
Yep.
Because I think this is intimidation based.
100%. You're looking for red shirts.
5.
You're
8.
withholding food.
You're telling them they're going to die.
No, I'm just telling them they won't have food. They can extrapolate that.
You're gonna die.
So this is basically just using rugged in place of suave for what's it called?
Intimidation.
Apply leverage.
You got a lot of leverage.
So on a 7 and 9, NPCs will do it only after you agree to something big and or provide concrete assurance.
I'd say you covered that.
Yep. You agree to something big.
One more stands up, takes off the helmet. It's another young man. Ellen, sir.
Ellen, welcome aboard. That accounts for half of you.
He looks down the hallway.
No one else gets up.
Half rations it is.
He hits the door, opens it.
Everyone makes a bum rush. Roll me plus rugged.
No, opens the door for the corporal to come back in.
Okay,
and
okay. Just kidding. That doesn't happen.
brings the 2 of them out.
They wait outside the door for you.
The stormtroopers?
Yep.
Okay.
You know,
Their helmets are off. You can see them.
never mind.
Say it.
No, it's a speculation. It'd be fucking dark if they come back, they get the half rations, and then the next time you go in, those 2 are dead.
He lets the corporal back in and brings those 2 stormtroopers out. He says, Corporal Reeld, pass this on to all your following relief. If anyone tries to access this bay without my express permission beyond the relief,
Understood, sir.
And if you do not hear from me in 24 hours, step out. Life support is shut off.
he says it loud enough for the rest of them to hear. They'll last a few hours longer in their suits.
Understood, sir.
Derek, Ellen, with me.
Sir, if I may. This is Derek. I'm from Alderaan, sir. Conscripted into the 242. I'd like to serve, sir. We'll go on this away mission. When I come back, I'd request to be enlisted into the Imperial Navy, sir. Or, I'm sorry.
Don't worry, we don't have a name for it yet. He kind of smiles. He says, I will forward my recommendation following our mission to Commander Carn.
Thank you, sir. I'll get it done, sir.
Well, when we stop by the armory, we'll need to arm you. I don't have to say it, but I'll be keeping an eye on the pointy end of those blasters.
Devin, San's about to leave the bridge, and he kind of stops, realizing, like remembering something. He says, Commander Carn, one more thing. I've heard that you're considering renaming the ship.
Yes, it is. It's a little bit low on my priority, but I understand it does have to happen.
May I offer a suggestion?
Of course, take it off my plate.
Do you know the origin of the name? Guillotine. It's a Twi'lek word. It's a creation of theirs, a thing that they used. The monarchy would behead those who betrayed them, rebels, whatever. I think that's probably where the history lessons of the Imperials who named it ended. The part that they forgot was that when Ryloth, the Twi'lek homeworld, when it rebelled, they used that same guillotine to take the heads from the leaders, the tyrants that oppressed them for so long.
And so the long history of Empire ironically naming their ships continues.
So my suggestion is that you keep the name. I say that last part loud enough for everyone on the bridge to hear. Keep the name, but take the meaning.
Interesting.
At least it would be one less job for you, yes?
It's already done. Thank you, Counselor.
Rhymes walks into the bridge, flanked by 2 stormtroopers holding blaster rifles.
I shoot him.
And another Marine behind the stormtroopers.
Force choke.
Counselor?
Captain, I'll see you on the Wandering Star soon.
Yes. With, he kind of looks to his side. A little bit extra for the away team.
Very well. Was hoping for a bit more than 2, but this will do well.
2 hours?
A nod.
We'll see you there.
Classic Star Wars screen wipe. Do you want to just have the fucking Wandering Star just be cruising down into the atmosphere?
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything they want to do?
Well, we want
hi-fi.
to stop at the hi-fi.
Oh, okay.
Do a quick scan.
Okay.
The wreckage field that is there?
Correct.
Yeah.
So the screen wipe is sustained, except it's now the Wandering Star, engines flaring, and then disengage as the Wandering Star, this small transport vehicle, dwarfed by the huge green planet in the background, adrift in a field of microscopic debris that still somewhat reflects that light like dust through a window. It's all that remains of the High Fae.
As we approach the field, Zeta closes his eyes and begins communicating with the Wandering Star. And he asks the ship to do a passive scan of the area. And specifically, can I tune it to look for any possible calamite? Or does the debris field look to the point where it won't even be able to distinguish quantifiable mass? If it's just stardust, then we'll pass through, shed a tear.
Give me an assess.
Sure.
Passive scan. When's the last time you did something for me, Zeta? The ship says.
8.
Seems like more of a passive-aggressive skill.
Give me an assess roll.
I got a 8.
Oh, you already rolled it. Okay, one question, if you'd like. Or if any of these do not...
Tickle my fancy.
Yep, you can give me one.
Let's see. Maybe what do I notice despite an effort to conceal it, in the event that if there is nothing that I can find calamite-wise, that there's maybe other information about the the debris field that informs what happened here?
Sure. Pretty simple once you put your mind to it. But essentially using the timetable and sort of recreating the event just geographically. So knowing where the planet was about the same time that this event happened. Now, these particles, you're able to read half-lives and stuff like that. So you're able to get a general geographic location of where the planet was, where everything was, where the planet was,
Sure.
where the hyphae was, where space station renewal was, using all of the technology, all of the gadgets at your disposal. So you're able to paint a pretty comprehensive picture of, about 8 days ago, the planet was here, the station was here, the ship must have been here, judging by the debris. The storms on the surface are pretty strong and pretty constant. It's almost like there's these fronts that are always moving around the planet.
Sure. Like the eye around Jupiter or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you find that about the time of the destruction of the hyphae was a sort of uncommon lull in atmospheric conditions.
Yeah.
Right. You can tell that when the hyphae was destroyed, there were clear skies over the visible part of the planet. And now when you look at it, it's a tumultuous swirl of white, gray, and black clouds. You can even see, now that you're outside of the outside of the asteroid field, you can see lightning. You can see the eyes of storms as they twist across these oceans, the bands of clouds being pulled across the planet.
Zeta is standing at least partially in the cockpit behind Caldo.
You see this. It's been a while. This living organism out in front of you, that planet. You have, it almost feels like you're drawn to it. You're connecting to it in a way that, you haven't since you've been on the hyphae.
Okay. He turns to kind of address probably, I'm not quite sure how, we haven't defined how the Wandering Star is set up, but I imagine that the cockpit is probably close by to the general quarters.
Sure. Yeah. It's not a extremely large ship.
Sure. Like a YT.
Sure.
Yeah. And he kind of addresses the group and he says, there are no discernible traces of calamite. Other scans indicate the conditions in which the ship was destroyed, though. The sensors suggest that the planet at the time was calm.
Well, I guess that is an oddity. For the most part, looking down at that planet, it's always covered in storms.
It is possible the storms act as a barrier to whatever the planet may emit.
Zeta, are you still connected to the Wandering Star's sensors?
I am.
Reach out to Dodori. Reach out to the storm.
That has possible ramifications.
I nod. I say, but is it different? Is it different from other weather? Is there more to it?
It is different from other planets. It has a calling.
Yes. You can feel it, can't you?
I can sense it through the sensors.
I kind of smirk and I kind of smirk and nod. And I say, yes. Through the sensors. Reach out to it.
Zeta will refocus the scanning array of the ship and do a focused scan of Dodori 6.
As he's doing it, I say, feel its intention, its will. What does the storm want?
out.
Should I use cool instead of canny?
Trust your feelings. Deep. Give me plus deep.
Can I? I'm
100%
assist.
aid. Yep.
Yeah, aid. I feel like I'm calling on our bond. I'm kind of implying that he's using the force.
Let's reiterate that bond for us, please.
My bond is what Zeta does is not just technical but spiritual. Accepting this will help him find his true power.
Roll it.
I got a 7.
Okay. +1.
Makes an 11.
Okay. There's something, again, alive about this planet, this lush green. It reminds you of the planet you used to look down upon from your space station of New Tauros. You're reminded of
He wasn't there.
Kani.
They didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
It's
Actually,
genetic memory, all right?
Okay. All right.
Yeah. You can say it reminded me of the High Fae, but
Okay, hold on. I got it. I got it.
open it now before anyone speaks.
Yeah, take your first. Oh, yeah. They are crunchy, aren't they? They're good.
You missed
Subscribe
the
to our ASMR channel.
Would you get those microphones that look like ears?
Gross.
I'm going to crunch on the cookie. Now it's time.
New podcast idea. They send us food for us to
We
eat.
eat it.
ASMR.
That's a grown man with a mustache eating a sugar cookie. All right.
In the corner,
Yep.
suggestively.
You lost a little bit up there.
Want me to help?
You got an 11 on your.
I did.
Okay. You have this feeling. It's like a memory, or it's more like you feel like you should remember this, an experience, but you're not quite able to grasp it. But it is.
It's like deja vu.
It's like deja vu, but it's unsettling. You're young. You've only lived for a year or so. It's very strange. You remember something from a long time ago, and it's this pain, a sort of a sadness, loss. But you feel that if you're able to grasp this memory, you'll be able to understand more. The planet is, you feel danger. What you sense through the sensors are these highly unstable particles. But what you feel in them is something different, something, a feeling that you may not have had before now. If the counselor hadn't pointed it out to you, you may not even have contextualized this sensation at all.
Zeta opens his eyes again, and he says, "The scanners indicate the unstable particles are abound on the planet. Additionally, it would seem that they have ill intent.
Did the scanners tell you that?
That is based on my reading.
The particles have ill intent?
That is correct.
Do you not have any reports, recon of this planet? Threats? Environment? Nothing?
It was decided that the planet was too dangerous to pursue.
And we were outbound, looking to provide materials for our fleet. We were not privy to the immediate scans that followed afterwards."
I'll tell you a couple things. You can use them if you want. Dominant species, bipedal simians called duati. Insects, birds, subterranean mammals, evidence of subterranean mammals. But the dominant surface species is shifting more towards amphibians.
Or the Duati still on the planet?
Yes, they are highly intelligent, non-sentient simians, apes,
Sort.
Oh, gotcha.
Space apes.
space apes. Yep.
Okay.
Do we think that they're kind of dying out because of the shift of the planet?
Yeah, you believe there are many species that will likely go extinct, but others have shown that they are able to adapt very quickly and very effectively.
The amphibians.
Specifically, yes.
Do we know if there was any sign of civilization on the planet?
Not that the original survey team had found.
Okay.
The planet is in the process of a metamorphosis. It's transforming into a water world. As a result, certain species are beginning to become more prominent, while others die out. There are creatures there. We called them the Duati. They're not sentient, but they're intelligent. Perhaps similar to primates. I'm not sure. I didn't encounter them firsthand. But we don't expect that in the next few thousand years this species will make it with the transformation of the planet.
What is your objective coming to this planet?
We're to find a home.
I mean now.
Now, my objective is to find out why this Commander Orn found it interesting, and perhaps find out what destroyed our ship.
Understood.
Ultimately, we want to find out where our fleet went, and this is the only place that we think we might have a lead.
Very well. Well, we'll do our best to keep things secure.
So in short, I turn towards the stormtroopers and I say, this is an intel mission. The planet has a hostile environment, possibly hostile natives, but our mission here is to gather information.
Rhymes, you sure they don't need to be bound on the travel down?
Wouldn't make any sense to do that. They need to be armed and free-willing out there.
Well, out there, but in the ship?
Rhymes kind of smiles. He reaches into his tin as we get close to atmosphere and the ship kind of starts rattling. He pulls out that black banthan gum, sticks a wad in his lip, and goes, well, we're all along for the ride. Volunteers. They have enough motivation, and well, we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, keep your eye on them. Reej takes a long drag of his death stick. Zeta, any parts of the hyphae that are more together, large sections, something that we could even scan? Maybe there's some terminal access.
Scans indicated that the hyphae was obliterated. Unless this nastygram tells me otherwise.
Well, to the planet then, I guess.
Caldo, please proceed to Caldo, please proceed to Dodori 6.
Preparing for entry.
As the ship's shuddering and passing through atmosphere, Jake, you see Rhymes. He's sitting there in the jump seat, looking pretty comfortable, and his eyes just kind of drifting down, staring at your lightsabers.
I say, you fought in the Clone Wars, didn't you?
I did.
Can I tell you something? Secret.
Please do.
When I was younger, I dreamed of being there. I thought how great it must have been. The Jedi generals serving along with the clone troopers.
You're young, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't.
Like you're human. You look.
I was born like when that war was over.
Not some fucking weirdo wackadoo alien.
Rhymes kind of smiles. He says,
Can I tell you something kind of secret?
A nod.
That was the first thing that I thought about this new empire that was kind of full of shit. How could the champions of our culture the next day be the villains? People forget. Overnight, it seemed. It was crazy enough. It was busy enough. People didn't dwell on it. But you look around, it wasn't that long ago. Despite my face, I'm not that old. And everyone seems to forget. But I saw those things in action. I sat there, pissing myself in my armor, while blasters just flew overhead. And those Jedi stood up, charged forward into the blaster field, deflecting everything coming towards them, looking back and beckoning us forward. And a year later, they were all wiped out. Anyway, coming in for landing.
We have a structure on radar, bringing you in close. And you see out the viewport as you break through the cloud cover into the atmosphere. You see this wide swath of green, verdant growth, trees. It's like the Amazon, mountains sort of rising up, cutting through them like blades. And in the middle, you see there's this oblong shape. It's just like all of the trees were wiped out, and it's gray. It is gray. You can see the reflection of marshy, dense grass and water, and cutting through this marsh, jutting out, is this huge ridge, an old peak of a buried mountain. But all that remains now is about a kilometer of rocky, jagged peak. You see small spots of dry land, but very few, as the rest of this environment is covered in water. There's a ping on your radar that Caldo sends that shows a lone radio structure. And you can even see it. There's sort of that red blinking light partially obscured by the canopy of the trees. Caldo says, I can bring you in close. I can't bring you down in the water. And he starts swooping down. You see those TIE fighters come in and start to the second TIE fighter. And they start forming a perimeter. The ship turns. And you touch down on one of the lone plots of dry land. Ahead of you, you see this vast glade covered in water. Its reflection is unmoving as the water is still. Ahead of you, about 5 kilometers, you see that rocky ridge poking out, cutting out of the marsh.
Ramp drops, wedge formation. Derek 10-2, Ellen 2-6, Jensen 6-10. On the double.
The Imperial personnel, ex-Imperial personnel, get ready by the door. You hear that hydraulic, and they step out.
Is that structure ours?
Zeta shakes his head negatively. He is moving slowly. He is unaccustomed to this level of gravity.
Area's clear, sir.
Keep your eyes out, board.
S3, stay with Caldo. Run scans. Let us know if you find anything.
Caldo's flipping switches.
Caldo, please be mindful if the storm begins to break. Well, that is a sign of concern.
I'll give you real-time updates.
Thank you, Caldo.
Good hunting.
Zeta uses the edge of the ship to climb down the ramp, holding on kind of for stability.
It's thick here. Almost it's in conflict with your earlier feelings of being enticed by the planet itself. I'm going to give you a -1 ongoing.
Yep.
To any physical activity.
Yep.
Reed steps outside and holsters his blaster.
There's a sulfurous smell in the air, and the atmosphere is thick. It's like a humid day on planet Earth, very, very humid, and it's warm. You can feel already, even through your enviro suit, that it's sweaty, it's hot.
Captain Rhymes, I have updated your data pad with the location of the structure.
He looks down. He has this mini data pad on his left arm.
Mm-hmm.
Is that on your character sheet? Do you have that? You sure that's me?
Mini data. Yes, it is.
Oh, it's right. Okay, nice, good.
Well done.
Nice.
Counselor, ready to move?
Just nod. What do we know about this structure?
It looks like a sensor array or a radio tower of some sort.
Is it an Imperial design?
Yes. Definitely Imperial.
It would seem that the storms of the planet masks its signal until you reach atmosphere.
Devin, looking at it, can Rhymes tell anything about this? Like, does this look like a prefab kind of, we drop these garrisons in? Does it look like a research facility? He's probably seen a bit of...
Yeah, give me an assess. And I'll tell you something depending on your role, and then I'll give you a question as well.
So can I use... This is normally only in combat. In combat, when you check out the scene, roll plus cool instead of plus canny.
You were warned that you know that this is a hostile environment, so sure, I'll let you do that.
That's a 7.
Okay. I'll tell you this. The design of that radio tower is Imperial, but it does not have any of the other hallmarks of an Imperial installation, mainly because you can't see one. I'll tell you with that 7 is whatever this structure is, it is likely under the water right now.
This doesn't look too familiar to me. That might be largely because it's mostly submerged, but it's definitely not a simple prefab. Not something that we would just drop to set up a garrison. But it's Imperial for sure.
Submerged. That would mean either it was purpose-built for the water or it's been here for a long time.
Rej, you had a couple of droids augmented. Those are on board the Wandering Star. Why don't you give me your role for
technology? Yep. Cunning.
Canny.
11.
Okay. You also have one of these data pads. One of these cool data pads.
I have to carry mine though.
Is it on your character sheet?
No.
I gave it to him.
Must be nice to be a player character.
And you have one of these scout droids and it is giving you a live feed of your onto your data pad. You do sense those particles, those highly active, unstable particles. You also get a sort of the same way that you would read the life support functionality aboard a ship. The atmosphere in this specific location, it is safe for you to breathe for a time, but it is not suitable for long-term habitation. And there is very few life signs that are coming from this area specifically. This is what in the Star Wars world I'm going to call a gray zone, where only life that is specially suited to live in this type of environment can live. Those Duwati, that dominant simian species, is not in this area.
Okay.
You think you see there's a couple of avian species that you can see, but other than that, this entire swath of land is quiet and devoid of life as of your sensors.
We better make this fast. The air in here is not necessarily good for us to breathe for too much longer. And it looks like there's not much life in this area. Those particles, perhaps. He looks at Zeta.
It is possible that they disrupt the ongoing possibility of life here.
I'll send this ahead. I press a button and the droid floats ahead towards the structure. We should follow along.
You can see that Rhymes, without anything being said, he looks to the counselor. He looks to
There's a lack
Son.
of
Yep.
there's
for
a lack
direction.
of balance here. Things are not as they are intended to be.
Son, give me plus deep real quick.
Let's eat.
9.
You have a uneasy, unsettling feeling about this place. The only structure that you can see, the only break in the landscape, is that large ridge, and behind it, that top of that radio tower. Everything else, you can see threats coming from anywhere. The only places where you can't is from below the water or within that ridge.
Is this like a marsh?
Yeah, it's a marsh.
So you can walk in it, but it's...
There are some places where you may not be able to.
Yeah, okay.
But for the most part, it seems traversable.
Watch your footing.
And watch for creatures in the water. Under the water.
Start making our way carefully across, following the droid as it floats towards the... Reed's just kind of hanging back, keeping an eye on the camera and sensor feed from that droid.
Josh, Rhymes, why don't you give me an assess? This will be on behalf of your company. They are the stormtroopers. Derek and Ellen are eager to prove themselves, and they take up point.
Is this plus cool?
Plus Kani.
7.
Okay. They start moving, but it's slow.
Column formation. Tighten it up.
They tighten it up, and they are moving slowly. One up front, you have Jensen, and then Ellen and Derek are a few steps behind to his left and right, and they are watching the surrounding area pretty well, but are moving forward slowly at a measured pace.
Don't fire at movement. We're here to learn things. Wait for a hostile act.
As you get closer, there's this smell in the air. It's that sort of sulfurous smell. It's becoming thicker as you get closer. You're approaching, at first, will reach the ridge, and beyond it is that radio tower. And as you get closer, that smell sort of becomes more like there's a sting of ammonia in the air, and the water is becoming more viscous. There are more deep places in the water where you even your company has to move around a certain area, find dry land, traverse, and then cross back into a path. It's slow going, but it's still quiet.
Zeta is walking not far behind you, Son, and he says, Son, do you enjoy this place?
No.
It seems peculiar that people would pick planet side rather than space.
This particular planet is not enjoyable.
So it is specific to this place?
Yes, but I don't think it was always like this. I think your grandparents, the Kani, expected it to be different. That's why we came here to begin with. They thought that this would be a habitable planet. They thought that it would be more like your homeworld. And I believe that the reason it isn't is down there.
Perhaps they have some sort of data facility. It may tell us what happened to the fleet.
Seems like we've stumbled upon a bigger mystery.
There's movement in the water. And as you get closer to this rock formation, you see that it's porous, almost like pumice. These little indents, these what's it called? What's the things in the English muffins?
Divots or
Nooks and crannies.
Alcoves. The things in the English muffins.
I was just thinking.
If you ever write a book,
cooks and the commercial with the little girl with the cooks and nannies.
Captain Rhymes takes a fork out and slowly starts prodding.
Splitting it in half.
this is a space fork.
Slowly spreading butter on it.
There's movement in the water. And you see these nooks and crannies in this porous rock formation. They're oozing some sort of substance. And you can tell that's where that ammonia smell is coming. And you see ahead of you, there's these shapes that start coming out and they look like drops of some secretion, and they fall and plop into the water.
Falling from where?
These
Rock
porous
okay.
little holes.
Like gathers and then falls.
Gotcha.
Does it dissipate when it hits the water, or does it kind of float on the surface?
Give me an assess.
Showa.
Imagine Zeta stops, observes.
11.
Okay, you got 3 questions, my friend, from the assess move.
Hey, I got it right here. Probably what is my biggest threat in this situation? How can I avoid trouble? And what potential complication do I need to be wary of?
Okay. The biggest threat, you look at those droplets that are coming out of these outcroppings. Your biggest threat in this situation is what is coming out of these small holes in the porous rock surface. It's not just some secretion. These are creatures. You catch one of them as it sort of slows up on a piece of rock jutting out, and you see that it's like a salamander. It's a large lizard-like creature. It's about a meter long. You see it hit. It's covered in that ooze, and it scurries down into the water and quickly disappears. Do you ask, how can you avoid trouble or hide here?
Yeah. You can save some of the answers too as we...
You look around you. You are in their environment. Mm-hmm. If these are amphibious creatures, the safest place you could be is on dry land, but that is very scarce in this part of the marsh. And a complication you need to be wary of is, again...
Yep. Kind of dovetails on those two.
Yep.
Okay. Zeta, who looks like he's really struggling moving through this terrain, has gone still for a moment. His eyes are kind of assessing the area around him. And he says, "Please be aware. The secretions seem to be living creatures, amphibious, lizard-like. They do seem to be well supported in the water environment. I would suggest we make it to high ground as soon as possible."
High ground.
The stone is secreting living creatures? What is it?
Is that a nest?
That would be one possible assessment.
Devin, I'm going to reach out and put a gloved hand on the stone.
You are not at you're not at that stone just yet.
We're not close enough.
No, it is about 100 meters in front of you. It seems like this native species was alerted to your presence and are now reacting.
Okay. Well, I'll wait till we get closer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we'll try to pick out a dry path as best we can.
Okay. Give me a plus Kani.
7.
There is a dry path. It looks like a sort of a big hook that goes, it's to your left, and you would have to go forward in order to go sort of to the side and up onto dry land. But that would lead you towards the rocky structure and then sort of loop around and bring you broadside of it. But in order to get there, you do have to go deeper into this marsh. You do have to cross some flooded landscape to get to it.
Captain Rhymes, please pick the path with the highest ground as quickly as possible.
Very well. Aiming to the installation?
That is correct.
All right. Jensen, turn to your 11 o'clock. Look for that little finger there. Brings us left of that rocky arc roping around the back.
Aye, sir, I see it. Come on.
Half time. Be careful.
The two stormtroopers fall in, and they start making their way. You can see them stepping high, bringing their feet all the way out of the water before bringing them back down into the soft ground underneath. Ellen turns. There's one! Shoots into the water. Everything is quiet for a moment after that.
I said hold your fire. Wait for a hostile act.
Sir, I saw one.
There's plenty of things down here to see.
Out of the water comes this meter-long, reddish-brown salamander. It is in all ways similar to a earth salamander, except it has 6 legs, and it comes out. A big arm bites down onto Ellen's arm, and those other legs grab around Ellen's legs and midsection and start wrestling him to the ground.
Game on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Every fight.
Every fight. Does it have 2 lightsabers?
It's got 6. It's 6 on.
No initiative, right? People just know.
Yeah.
You see more of you can see now there are these, you ever seen like a crocodile or alligator under the water? You see those, that wake that it leaves as something is moving just under the surface of the water. You see several of those.
Hate it. Absolutely
between you and the rocky structure. They're coming towards you.
I don't always want to be the first one to act.
You
I'm
should
just a
be.
guest.
You're the dude.
Yeah,
no, you are the trooper.
Mm-hmm.
You're a trooper.
Trooper.
Derek Jensen, take it out. He directs his squad, and then Rhymes, he thumbs a switch, and the underbarrel grenade launcher on his...
Gravy.
Yes, that's on my character sheet, in case you're wondering.
This guy's taking liberties with the character.
Is it a thermal detonator grenade launcher?
No, but it is, that's what I get.
Love it.
He starts thumping grenades into like the perimeter. He's not hitting this creature. He sees all the movement, and he knows how explosions resonate in the water.
It's like bayou fishing.
Yeah. Sounds like a stand in defense. You want to defend
Sure.
your position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, roll me a plus rugged.
This is gonna be boring. More good rolls. 10.
Okay. You choose 2.
Choose 3 because of elite trooper.
He's elite.
Elite.
I will. I'm sorry. I lost my spot here. What the fuck is this? Stand of it. I will see what you're directing to safety.
Okay.
Efforts inspire others, and I will suffer little harm.
Okay. Jensen pulls out a vibroblade and just cuts this thing right off of Ellen, and then you actually move towards that finger of solid ground, and the rest of the party can move up behind you, and you find yourselves very quickly. There's some blaster rounds that go out. Some of these grenades that land, you can see they instantly disperse these forms that are moving towards you in the water. You do see that there are several more outside of your grenade launcher's range, but the party is able to get to solid ground.
Rij with he's kind of following along with his data pad, and he hits some buttons on it. The droid itself is actually hovering over the water near the ridge because it was ahead of us. And he says, I'll see if I can get him at the source. And the droid like top pops up a little bit, and it is armed. Those scout droids are armed.
Oh yeah,
as we saw in Hoth, and starts blasting these things as they start to come out of the rock.
It's a little like spin.
Yeah,
270 degrees. Spin, spin. And you see there are more of these creatures that are coming out of these pores, and you see they're being blasted by this scout droid at close range, and they're just tumbling into the water.
Zeta is clambering through the marsh for Highland.
Yeah,
that is his only goal.
I think you're going to be the last person to get there, but the position is defended for now.
San is going to start running towards the porous rock.
Okay.
Maybe trying to use the droid's fire as cover. But he's trying to get to the rock, get onto the rock.
You see a couple of these creatures, these salamanders. One of them actually leaps out of the water trying to grab onto the droid, and it just glides, hovers away just at the right time, spins and blasts this salamander, and you're able to move closer towards this rocky ridge.
Jake, when you touch the rock, Sean Connery pops out and says, "Welcome to the rock."
Do you want to?
God damn it, dude!
Do you want to get there? Are you just running as a person, as a human would run?
As opposed to what?
Force
Flying?
jump?
As opposed to like a dash, using the force to...
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Roll use the force.
Get deep.
Yeah. Want me to roll use force?
Yeah, use the force.
He just wants you to get dark side
you
points.
can just take 3.
I got a 9.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So hold 1.
You can get there right now.
Okay.
Just in a blur, you see San has curved and rounded that hook and is now running broadside of that ridge. There's only about 2 meters of water between you and where this huge peak reaches up through the water. That ammonia smell is choking. The rest of you are still behind.
Rhyme's already acted, but he's going to say to Jensen, hold their spot, defend them, cover them to the installation. And he looks and he just starts running after what to him is the jet line.
Yep. You more blaster fire. These creatures are now beginning to come up on land in between San and the rest of the party. One of them is significantly larger. It's maybe 3 meters long, and it has 2 heads. And it's right in front of you, Rhymes. It's about 20 meters in front of you.
All right, I guess the move I'm going to try to use, leave no one behind. In combat, when you help someone escape, I'm not trying to help San escape, obviously, but in his mind, he's trying to open his path to there. So if there's threats, he'll try to take them on or whatever.
This thing seems like it's coming after you and the rest of the party.
Okay.
Your Jensen, Derek, and Ellen are still behind you as you take off in a sort of bold move to go after San. The rest of you are on ground. Zeta, you get to dry land just as this creature appears.
He pretty much crawls out of the swamp at this point. The exertion of trying to move quickly is exhausting.
Rij kind of whips the data pad around his back and levels the blaster at this creature, just running towards it, trying to get through. I'll do some whatever.
Some rugged. Going in blazing.
Going in blazing. 7.
Okay, choose one.
I will suffer a little harm in return.
Good choice.
Okay.
I already have 1 wound.
Yeah.
This blaster rings out. These blasters are disrupting this otherwise quiet and peaceful environment. And as you do, you're fixated on this large, 2-headed mutant of a salamander. And another one comes up and goes to bite you. You run past it, but its tail, as it skitters across towards the other side into the water, its tail comes and just whacks you on the back of the legs and trips you up. Take 1 harm. And it slows you down for just a moment.
Hey, should I roll anything?
Yeah, that was a move that you had.
Yeah.
Roll what
Plus rugged.
Sure. 13.
12.
Okay. Is that you don't have the advanced for that move, do you?
No.
Okay. What do you get?
I see. I get them out clean.
Okay. So between you and this modified scout droid, you're able to pick off any other creatures in San's vicinity that are crawling out of this rock. And even Jensen pulls out a grenade of his own and throws it at a large concentration of these things as they're swimming up, and it explodes underwater, and it seems to quiet down. The other shapes that were moving in the water seem to disperse or dive deeper in a defensive posture. They seem to be hiding. This was maybe 30, 45 seconds of explosions, blasters, shouting, and it all seems to quiet down for just a moment as San reaches the forest rock.
Describe this rock again to me. It's
like pumice,
but it's really.
Have you seen an English muffin before?
But it's really big. Like it sticks up out of the water.
It looks like it would have been a mountain peak, but it is this like sort of sharp incline on both sides, like a blade that comes up and stretches out to your left into the forest.
So it kind of like arches.
Yes.
Okay. San, I want to do a little flashback.
Yeah, great.
San and his master. We see a Twi'lek woman, red skin, wearing a dark robe. The two of them are running across a rooftop. We see a younger San out of breath, trying to keep up with her. She gets to the edge of the roof and she jumps impossibly far to the next roof. And he stops and he just stares as she glides through the air and lands on this roof. And she looks back and she says, "Come on, use the force. Let it carry you." And I'm going to try to force jump onto the top of this
awesome
thing. I'm going to roll force.
Roll it, please.
9. God damn it.
You can take 3.
Yeah, you get 1, but you can take 3 at any time. Take this moment of quiet and you calm yourself. And almost in slow motion, we see San sort of dip into like this squat and then leap up supernaturally. And you land on top of this ridge. It's uneven. And so you take a moment to gather your feet. You look ahead of you and down a similarly steep decline as the one you just jumped up. You do see jutting out of the water this scaffolding with a radio transmitter at the top. Whatever it's attached to is below the water. And you look to the left and you see looks like a piece of this ridge was carved out artificially. It's this very clean cut in this circular clearing. There is the water level is lower, but the ground is still submerged. But you see almost growing out of it like a natural growth. It is this ivy and moss covered structure, almost a tower. Just the top part is maybe 10 feet above the water. And attached to it is a big, round, gray metal disc.
All right.
Don't like it.
I point to it and I say, "There."
You get a bad feeling. Everything else on the ground is quiet.
Ree's just like grabbing down to grab Zeta, pull him out of the water. Are you all right?
No.
It weighs
That's
heavy.
all he says.
Weighs heavy here.
That is correct. I am suboptimal at the moment. Is the threat clear?
For now, just over the ridge is the installation.
We proceed. Zeta pulls himself up onto the dry land and falls in line behind Rij.
We see from behind the group, we see the party moving forward on this stretch of dry ground. We look up, we see San on top of this ridge. And before you can look back to the party to tell them what you found, you look down to the opposite side of that ridge. And you see a shape moving towards you. It's large, 5-6 meters long, like a slug, with one overgrown muscular arm. The head of this creature has this broad crest with mushroom-like growth connecting it to the back of the head. This creature looks at you with eyes that you've seen before in only 2 other creatures, both of them to Kani. And it roars. Find out what happens next time.
Hate that.
Oh, that's not going to be good.
That's not great.
Trogdor.
Is it Trogdor? Sure.
You describe Trogdor. One big muscular arm.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Wings of Kani. Intro and outro music by Galactic Empire. Check them out at Galactic Empire Official on social media. Our Nasty Graham theme music by A Wilhelm Scream. Dramatic voiceover by Liv. Check her out at Musings of a Polyhedron on Substack. Check us out on nastygrahampod.com. You can get full bios of all the cast. You can get all the links to our social media, links to the feed with all of our back content. So head on over, check out the Nastygram Lounge on Facebook, and chat with us, and tell us your favorite force powers.
That's nasty.
Well, at least you're self-aware. You know that you're... One Shot of the Monster was good. I liked it.
I don't need your fucking You're still probationary here.
I like it. You said permanent on your interview. So
Well,
I have tenure. I can just
I can edit that.
say what I want.
You signed the contract?
Yep.
I need $2,000.